Hi, it's Laurel and welcome to my Simply Gelatos video series using Design Memory Crafts gelatos. We're going to dive right in using showcasing the dripping technique. This is a really fun technique that really leaves a very artsy kind of textury look. I'm using right there watercolor paper. I do believe that using watercolor paper is the best paper for this project because the paper is going to pretty much get heavily saturated. I'm just going to start applying colors that I like directly onto the card base. I'm putting on a pretty heavy coat, so I'm applying some pretty good pressure with these gelatos, and I love them, little chapsticks, creamy, yummy. I just love them. And then I've got a mister, and I'm just going to spritz the card base with water pretty heavily. As you can see, the petals are starting to build up. I'm going to tap them, and then I'm going to start spraying from the upright position, and you can see that the water is starting to drip and the color of the gelatos are starting to drip down the page, and because it's watercolor paper, it really does react wonderfully with it. So I'm just kind of tapping and spraying and tapping and spraying. That card base is pretty wet there, and I'm going to continue to tap and spray until I'm comfortable with the look that I've gotten from it. And then I'm going to set it off to dry. You can zap it with a heat gun if you want, or you can let it dry naturally. Now the cardstock will probably curl and warp, and you can flatten it out just by putting something heavy over it for an extended period of time. Now we're going to do something called blotting. And I'm going to be using some gesso, and I'm going to be using this collapsible bowl from Design Memory Crafts. It's super brilliant if you ask me, and it's definitely helpful for storage. I store a lot of my things in drawers. And I just love that you can collapse it and make it bigger, and it's super easy to clean. So I definitely recommend this bowl. I will link the supply list up on my blog post, of course. So what I'm going to do is just scribble some purple into the bowl. You don't have to use a bowl. You can use your craft sheet, acrylic block, piece of plastic, whatever. And I'm using my palette knife, and I'm adding some gesso. When I add gesso to any of the gelatos, you are going to get more of a pastel toned down kind of color, which I like. And I'm taking one of these sponge dabbers, and they Design Memory Crafts sells various toolkits. And this one is from the Mix and Match Gelatos tool set. And it comes with a lot of fun things there to create. We're going to be using almost everything that's in that kit today. So I'm just going to start picking it up with my dabber and just start creating my own little polka dotted background. You can mix and match your colors, and you can also do various sizes. There's another toolkit that sells the smaller dabber, so I went ahead and picked that up. You can use the top of a pencil eraser to probably achieve the same look as well. And then I'm just using a baby wipe, and I'm wiping that bowl clean, and voila, it's clean. I hate cleaning, so that's awesome. Now I'm just going to show you that you don't have to use a bowl. I'm using the Tim Holtz craft sheet. And I just put some green down and mixed it with water. No gesso, just water. The color's pretty true when you mix it with water. And now there I'm putting an orange and pink together. I'm going to create my own custom color, which is another fun thing about the gelatos. You can create your own colors just by putting together a couple of gelatos and applying a medium such as water, gesso, or glaze to it. So it's super fun. And you can find a lot of different things you have just lying around your craft room to create different textures and looks. Now we're going to make your own custom mist, and I'm sorry I did that part off camera. I thought I was filming it, but I took my palette knife and I cut off a tiny little chunk of the aqua gelato there. And I've put some warm water in the dripper there, and I'm just dripping a couple of drops of water just to moisten up the gelato. And you'll keep adding water, and you'll keep mixing with the, I'm using a palette knife. You can use a spoon or something flat. And I'm just going to keep adding water, and I'm going to keep stirring until all the chunks of the gelato is gone. Again, warm water is a must here. And I'm just going to keep stirring it around and stirring it around until you get the look that you want. You want kind of a watery, you don't want any clumps, obviously. You want a very good, bold colored liquid. And then I'm going to take another dropper that I have, and I'm going to suck up the liquid and put it in a mister bottle that Design Memory Craft carries. And then I've created my own custom mist, and I am in love with that aqua color. It's actually the color of my daughter's room. I just love it. So there's the mist that we've created. I'm just going to take a mask that I have. I think that's from my Crafter's Workshop, the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm just going to mist, mist, mist. And you've created your own mist with products that you have. And I just love it. I love the misted look. It's just gorgeous. Now we're going to create a gradient background using Gelatos and Glaze, which is another medium. I like it because it leaves a sheen on your project, and it also protects, it provides a protective coating. So I'm just putting some washi tape down to hold my, my mask in place. And I'm just going to grab different colors again that I like, and I'm just going to start scribbling directly onto my mask. You've seen me do it in a previous video, and we blended with our fingers. Now we're going to blend with the Gelatos and the medium glaze. I just love it. When you apply the glaze, your colors are going to be true to form. It's not like gesso where you're going to get a lighter version. That's a little wedge that one of the toolkits is in, and I just dipped it in the glaze there, and I am just spreading it all around. I'm not cleaning off my wedge in between the blendings because I want all the colors to kind of go together and blend nicely. And I really, as you can see when I applied that glaze, the colors did not change any. They're still bright and vibrant. I'm wiping that off with a baby wipe so I can see what my base will look like. And because the blue and the green had that nice gradation, I wanted to do the same with the purple and the red, so I added a little bit more red. And I am blending it with my gesso, my glaze, and then I added a little bit of orange up at the top as well. And I'm ready to peel it off, and you really get this pretty, pretty, pretty look. It has a teeny tiny bit of dimension to it as well. Now I wanted to show you my process of the trial and error to get to that point. This is something that I used. I did the same technique, but I had to practice to figure out the exact mixture of the medium and the Gelatos to create the background look. With this one here, I obviously used too much water, as you can tell. And the one there to the left, I didn't use enough water. And the one I'm about to show you now, I used the perfect amount of mixture. So you just have to practice, practice, practice until you get to the right mixture. And as you can see here, everything is blended and it's smooth and it's not all running together and all murky. And those two, quite frankly, they just look like crap. So I dug those out of my garbage to show you. So I think with practice, you can figure out quite easily what mixture of medium and Gelatos to use to get the effect that you want. Thanks so much for watching my Simply Gelatos video number 3. Check back with me next Saturday for video number 4. And be sure to check out my blog at www.laurelbeard.org for a detailed supply list. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful week.